morning to you all. My name is Simon Maybu. I'm an active member of the Islamic Society of North Jersey and a Mount Olive resident. I am honored to be opening this evening's program. Thank you all, community members and leaders, for joining us tonight. It's been a gloomy, heavy, and cold day. Not unlike the heaviness and chill we have been feeling this past week. 51 lives were taken, just as many injured. We came to learn about the victims, about 3-year-old Musad Ibrahim, who was described as energetic and playful. 4-year-old Abdullahi, he was the youngest of his Somali family. 71-year-old Dawood Nabi, who died trying to shield another worshiper as the lone gunman burst into the mosque. We heard from survivors as well, like Nathan Smith, who described bodies stacked on top of each other. Left trembling and shaken, he still can't figure out how he survived. While most of us did not know these people on the other side of the world, we struggled with our own emotions, our fear, our hurt. Perhaps questioning, could this have been my mosque, my church, my temple? This fear can be paralyzing. It can even be destructive. But the fact that all of us are here tonight shows courage. Belief that good still exists in humanity. And so I leave you to reflect on the power we have in overcoming fear, overcoming hate, when we pray together, when we heal together, when we stand together saying no, not in our mosques, not in our churches, not in our temples. Thank you.
Professional hazard. I'm used to multitasking. Okay. So next on the list is Sheriff Gambit.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. Welcome to our friends and neighbors and people of all faiths that have gathered at this remembrance ceremony to let New Zealand know, and the families and friends of Muslims everywhere. The Muslims who were murdered on March 15 at 2 mosques in New Zealand, that we stand as one in our sorrow and outrage. I want you to know, as the Morris County Sheriff, I stand here along with the Morris County Prosecutor Fred Matt and your tremendous Mount Olive Police Chief, Stephen Beecher. We're out there to protect you. We protect 317 houses of worship in Morris County. And we know that we are very well trained and prepared to protect you all from any type of brutality. Every day, even though you may not see it, highly trained officers are out there keeping watch at our various houses of worship. We're here to protect and serve the people of this country. The sheriffs, along with all the Morris County Police Chiefs, are ready to protect all good people. It's important to unite and grieve. I happen to grow up in Boone, where last week we had a great group of people get together at the mosque, 110 Harrison Street, which is 3 blocks from my home. I happen to grow up in Boone, and in 1971, many Turks came to Boone, Muslims. We played soccer, we played together, and we keep together to this day. Very, very good people. So we had opportunity to talk about family and all the things that are important to us. This event here is about peace, about love, and about acceptance. You know, the month of April is just ahead of us, a time when people of the Jewish faith will celebrate Passover, and Christians will celebrate Good Friday and Easter Sunday. In May, people of Muslim faith will start a month-long observation of Ramadan. The sheriffs and all law enforcement in Morris County stand by and stand in front of you and all members of the religious communities. We are reunited with good people of all faiths and will work relentlessly as warriors to protect the community from unforgivable hatred. God bless you all. Let me know how I can help you and your families get through this trying time. We're going to be here as we go forward, and just let us know how we can help you. God bless you. Have a very enjoyable evening.
Thank you, Sheriff Cannon, for those kind words. Next, I'd like to invite Chief Preacher to say a few words. And before I do that, I want to say that a lot of these the arrangements today were all thanks to Chief Preacher. And most of you know we were supposed to be out in the cold today in Turkey Brook. But, you know, things moved over here very quickly. And I can't thank the Chief enough for his support and
Chief or a leader is only as good as the people that work for him. And I would like to take all the credit for these arrangements tonight, but I certainly can't. It's the people that work for me that did this for the mosque, and I'm very grateful that they did. So how about a round of applause for them? Today we mourn the victims of the worst mass murder in New Zealand history. 51 people killed, 40 wounded. When I heard about it, it was hard to wrap my head around it, especially being that it happened in a religious institution. It was an evil and corrupt act made worse by the use of live streaming video on social media to promote similar acts of violence. The recent worldwide result has been grief, disgust, and the fear of being targeted for religious beliefs. This cuts across all faiths. It's been said that the attacks on Christchurch were the result of a rising intolerance of Muslims in the United States and abroad. Just last night, my sister-in-law told me of a friend of hers who had just started bringing her daughter back to mosque for Jummah, and after the attack, she said she was too afraid to continue doing so. Hearing that breaks my heart, because this is America. We honor the victims of Christchurch attacks today by remembering them. We are here tonight out of respect and support for our Muslim brothers and sisters. You are part of our community, part of our flock. Like the sheepdog, we are determined to protect you from harm. We are resolute in providing you an environment where you can enjoy the freedoms American law provides. Winston Churchill once said, "Fear is a reaction, courage is a choice." We hope that our support helps you carry on with determination and solace to continue practicing your faith. Don't let the terrorists change who you are. Assalamu alaikum. I think I said that. Peace be upon you all, and God bless.
Thank you, Chief Beecher, for those kind words. And next, I'd like to invite State Homeland Security Sham Chowdhury.
New Jersey Office of Homeland Security, which I think most people have probably never heard of. But our office has been around since 2006, and part of what we do, we have 3 core missions. One is cybersecurity. We're one of the lead agencies throughout the country that provides that cybersecurity for both critical infrastructure as well as the government sector in the state of New Jersey. The second thing we do in our core mission is resiliency. Part of that resiliency is protecting the houses of worship. And the third is a counterterrorism mission. We're the lead agency in the state that focuses on counterterrorism investigations. So one of the few things that we do, working with our partners on the federal level, state, county, such as this in Morris County, as well as the local police department. We offer grants to protect the houses of worship, and we've been doing that for quite a bit of time. Last year, on the FEMA grant, Federal Emergency Management Agency grant, the state of New Jersey has collectively received $8.6 million. That money was put towards target hardening, which means getting cameras, doors, locks, and helping to protect houses of worship across the state. Additionally, last year, the state of New Jersey, through the NSGPP grant, provided $1 million to houses of worship to supplement their security. This year, Governor Murphy signed a bill that that particular grant will be up to $2 million. $1 million for supplemental security, the other $1 million to target hardening. And finally, the third thing our office does in terms of working with the houses of worship, we have this thing called the Interfaith Advisory Council, where we bring together all faiths together on a quarterly basis and meet quarterly on different places throughout New Jersey. When there is an incident such as New Zealand that occurred last year, our office put out a conference call to various Interfaith Advisory members. We provided full intelligence brief on what happened that day and what we're doing as partners from federal, state, county, and local. That includes putting out extra patrols for the houses of worship. So collectively as partners, we work very diligently to protect those houses of worship. A lot of times you don't see that, like the sheriff had mentioned earlier, but we do. And we've been doing it for a long time. The state of New Jersey collectively has been doing it for a long time to protect, and we're very proactive about it. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Detective Chang, for coming out and those kind words and updates. Next, I'd like to invite Mayor Greenbaum. And thank you for all the support you provide. We really appreciate it.
Good evening to everybody. We are very proud to have this here in our community today. We are very proud that we have the mosque in our community. We don't look at people's religion in Mount Olive, whether you're Muslim or Jewish or Catholic or Protestant. It makes no difference to us at the elected level. We look at ourselves as residents. All together, one religion, it doesn't matter. When this attack happened in New Zealand, which was a world away, it was just like it happened in our own backyard. And you know, we always hear, and I know that Sheriff Gannon, as he was running for office the first time, talked about the fact that a terrorist attack is just one town away from where we are at any given point in time, and it could happen to any group, or to any group of people in a theater, or in a church, or in a mosque, or in a temple. It cannot be tolerated. We all need to be vigilant. We all need to stick together. And from this tragedy, as others have said, there is good. It's like a forest fire. After the forest fire, the forest starts to grow back, and it grows back stronger. And that's what I'm hoping will happen here in Mount Olive and throughout the world as a result of this particular tragedy. So thank you for coming. Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I'd like to invite Congressman Malinowski. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Sheriff Gannon and Chief Beecher, especially for everything that you do for us every single day, not just today. For the last several days, I've been reading about some of the good people who lost their lives in New Zealand. And one of the things that struck me was how many of them came from places that were dangerous, from places like Syria and Somalia and Afghanistan. They came to New Zealand because they thought, my goodness, of all places in the world, we would be safe in New Zealand. And of course they were not. And I think that's one reason why we are all here today and why we were concerned, because we understand that if you're not safe in New Zealand, we cannot be certain of our safety anywhere. What happens in New Zealand can happen in New Jersey, it can happen anywhere. We are connected to those people by a common humanity, but we are also facing a common hate that knows no borders. There are people now in every country who cannot bear the idea that they should be forced to live with somebody who is different, a different faith, a different skin color, people who came from different countries. And we know that in this contest, we are all together. We know there's no meaningful difference between a man with a gun walking into a synagogue in Pittsburgh and killing Jewish people because he thinks that there are immigrants invading America. That's what that gunman said. And the Jews are paying for it. There's no meaningful difference between that and a man walking into a mosque in New Zealand saying exactly the same thing, that we are being invaded by somebody who is different from us. And the best thing we can do in the face of that is what we are doing here today, coming together as Christians, as Jews, as Muslims. Look at that banner up there on the wall. Look at the names. Martinez, Spanish. Williams, English. Callahan, Irish. Schmidt, German. Romanelli, Italian. Khan, Muslim. That is who we are. Every single last one of them, American. That is what we are here to celebrate. And so, to my fellow Americans of the Muslim faith, let me say this. Thank you for being here. And no, I don't just mean thank you for being here in this gym. Thank you for being in America. And if you are like me and you were born somewhere else, thank you for choosing America. Thank you for the jobs you create. Thank you for the children you teach. Thank you for the businesses you build. Thank you for serving in our military. Thank you for bringing your culture to enrich the culture of this wonderful country that we share. And all of us here, we owe you something. We have a sense of responsibility to you that brings us here today. And those of us who are public officials like me, we have a special responsibility. I'll tell you, my job is not to send thoughts and prayers, although I am doing that. My job is not to mourn, although I am mourning with you today. My job is to act. My job is to try to do something. And so I will give you this promise. When I go back to Washington on Monday, I will do everything I can to call out anyone in this country who uses language that is in any way similar to the language that those terrorists use. And I will do everything I can we will do everything we can. My colleagues in the Congress, and this has nothing to do with political party, we will work together to make sure that the fine men and women who protect us, from the FBI to the Justice Department, to our Department of Homeland Security in New Jersey, to our Sheriff's Department and our police in Mount Olive, have the resources that they need to protect us and that we treat the threat of white supremacist terrorism just as seriously as we have rightly treated the threat from groups like Al-Qaeda and ISIS in our country and in our today. That is what we are going to do together until we have the safety and peace that we deserve and that we remain the country that we chose and our parents and our grandparents and our great-grandparents chose so many years ago. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. Next, I'd like to invite Prosecutor General Frederick M. Knapp.
Assalamu alaikum. Shabbat shalom. Good night and good evening, everyone. The Morris County Prosecutor's Office has supervisory responsibility for all 39 municipal law enforcement agencies in the county. So we supervise all the municipal departments. We work with Sheriff Gannon, who is a true law enforcement professional, Chief Steve Beecher, who's an outstanding police chief. You're very, very fortunate to have him leading your police officers in Mount Olive. We work with him on a regular basis. Your Mayor, Rob Greenbaum, I've worked with on many occasions, an outstanding individual. And everyone here who's spoken to you has spoken from the heart. Our office has two major units that would be of support to this community above all others. One, we have a bias crime unit. So if you ever feel that you're being treated unfairly, if you feel that you're the subject of any bias intimidation, you have a right to call us, you have a right to contact us, you have a right to contact your local police and tell someone that someone has treated you differently because of your ethnicity, your religion, whatever it may be. Because that is not legal in New Jersey. It's not legal anywhere. And I want to tell you that our office takes this very seriously, and we will prosecute people who commit bias-related crimes and intimidation. Secondly, we have a Homeland Security unit, and we work very closely with the State Office of Homeland Security. Detective Chowdhury and I have worked together on many occasions. We have a specialized unit that works with us at our office. I have my captain here, Captain Kimper, who's in the audience, who supervises multiple units in our office. And we handle any case involving any threat to Homeland Security. So our motto is, and you've heard this many times, if you see something, say something. Correct. Please, that should be your motto. And whenever you have occasion to see something that doesn't belong, that someone who shouldn't be there, who's someone that you don't identify with, who should not be where they are, or you see something that you feel is a threat, please let your local law enforcement officers know, because they're there to help you, they're there to protect you. That's our function in law enforcement. So I want to close on those points, and thank you very much for inviting us to be here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to now introduce freeholder Douglas Cabana.
Good evening, everyone. I'm joined here this evening with my colleague, freeholder Heather Darling, and on behalf of all of the members of the Morris County Board of Chosen Freeholders, we are here this evening to support our Muslim brothers and sisters in Mount Olive and throughout Morris County. Morris County is a population of about 500,000 and about 475 square miles, divided into 39 municipalities. We are one community. We're one community of many faiths, many ethnicities and cultures. Quite frankly, that's what makes the beauty of Morris County, our diversity. And when you see this, there's no room for hate with this diversity. You know, my grandmother emigrated from Ireland to New York City in 1930. And when she went to apply for a job, she was met with signs that said, Irish do not apply. But she wasn't going to be outwitted, so she dropped the O from O'Reilly Figured no one would know she was Irish. But when she opened her mouth, the bro gave it away. So, unfortunately, hate, as we see it in America, has been around for probably as long as mankind, and every immigrant group seems to get the brunt of it. But at least in today's society, we are more aware, and we're familiar, and we know what is right and what is wrong. And I think most of us embrace that in the community. You know, the sheriff, the prosecutor, they're our law enforcement. They're the front lines in protecting the people of Morris County. And along with our Department of Law and Public Safety, which as you see when you walk in, some of that equipment we brought up from Morristown. You know, we're the financing part of it. We're the ones that pay the bills as a free board. But, you know, no expense is to be spared when it comes to our public safety, because it is one of the most important roles that county government plays. And we support our local law enforcement agencies through the prosecutor and sheriff and law and public safety. We provide, because, you know, intelligence and things along those lines need to be done at a more regional level. And that's what we've been doing. And we do commit to our Muslim brothers and sisters, to our Jewish brothers and sisters, our Christian brothers and sisters, that the resources of Morris County government will be there for the protection of all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite Freeholder Heather.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. And when I look out at this group, I see diversity. I see families. I see friends. I see brothers and sisters, whether it's by blood or in spirit. I see one community, even though the community is made of diversity. And you've all come here tonight to say that you will not stand for any hate in your community against one another, and you will not stand for crime and violence against your brothers and sisters that are here tonight. And for that, I respect everything that you come out for. Everyone that stands up here, that sits up here in front of you tonight, I know is with you and behind you. Freeholder Director Cabana discussed what the freeholders do for the community. Sheriff Gannon discussed what he does, Prosecutor now. Everyone up here stands behind you against hate. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite the President of County College of Morris.
Good evening. I'm honored to be here tonight. I'm glad to be here with you tonight. When the news broke, I suspect we all felt the same way. Shock, hurt, anger, frustration. This continues to happen over and over across our country and across our globe. At CCM, we teach many, many things, but at the heart, and likely the most important thing we teach, is not to tolerate, but to celebrate, to appreciate, and educate. And I hope you'll indulge me for a moment as an educator. And if you're able to, I'd like to ask you to take the hand of the person next to you. I know for some that's a little uncomfortable, but if you're able to, you feel those hands. Make sure we're okay. I'm not there or law enforcement, but I am a teacher. Okay. Those are not the hands of Muslims or Christians or Jews. They're the hands of people not from one faith, but from all faiths. Those hands belong to people who care, who love, and how do you know? We are here this evening, and we're here for one purpose, to affirm that we are one people, to affirm that we all matter, and to affirm that these kind of actions are completely intolerable. That on days when there is tremendous pain, when we watch the news, when we hear the stories, I hope that you will think of this. I hope that you remember those hands, and that you remember where there is grotesqueness and hate, that even greater than that, and even more than that, there is love. and there is peace, and there is unity. I hope you'll take that as one of the great lessons of this evening and keep it with you. Because while I have the freedom to practice my faith, I value that everyone else has the freedom to practice the faith of their choice. Thank you. And to our Muslim brothers and sisters,
I go multitasking again. So next I'd like to invite Serena Rice.
Good evening. I am the pastor of the Abiding Peace Lutheran Church in Bud Lake, and I'm also honored to currently serve as the chairperson for the Mount Olive Clergy Association. And I'm here in both capacities. First, I speak to you as a Lutheran pastor. Some would say that identity distinguishes me from some of you in this room because we have a different faith. But my faith actually teaches me that I'm required to honor the one who is different than me. Most of you have probably heard of the parable of the Good Samaritan, the person who helps someone in need. What you might not be aware of is that that parable was told in response to a question from someone who wanted Jesus to limit whom he had to love. This man said, I know I have to love my neighbor, but who is my neighbor? Tell me the limits of who I have to love. And in response to that question, Jesus told him a story in which someone, that man, was predisposed to distrust, to see as different because of a different religion, a different ethnicity. Jesus told a story of a Samaritan and said, that's your neighbor. And more than that, that different person is the one who helps. And I think that that definition of a neighbor as someone who might look different from us, but is someone we need, is what we need in this country. We need to define our neighbors as those who might look different, but we need them. We need diversity in this country. Second, I speak to you as the chairperson of the Mount Olive Clergy Association. We met together on Wednesday and we were talking about our desire to create space in our town for conversation across difference, for recognizing that we are unified within our diversity. We don't have to be the same to find unity. So I know a lot of you as you were coming in got this card. If you didn't get it, well, I'll tell you how you can continue to follow up on this. But this card basically is an invitation to community building. It's an invitation to say, I want to be part of the conversation. We're hoping in the coming year to host a number of forums where we will create space for us to come together in our diversity and talk about how we can be community together. So if you want to be part of that, either fill out the card if you got one. If you didn't, I apologize, I didn't print enough. So you can reach out to me at Abiding Peace Church. You can reach out to any of the clergy who are here. We'd be happy to take your information, and we will be following up with opportunities to be in conversation. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for being this community together.
Thank you very much, Serena, for all the support you provide. Thank you. Next, I'd like to invite Anthony Bucco, New Jersey Assemblyman.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here tonight. I apologize for being late. On Sunday, many of us had the opportunity to take part in a similar vigil in Hoop. And I spoke a little bit about the mosque and how that mosque was located there, and about how the mayor in that town, at that time my father, instrumental in making sure that that community was welcome. And you know, it only takes one leader to stand up, one leader to show the way. And that's what I think you see here tonight. You see many people of different faiths, people of different levels of government, organizations, all willing to stand up and say enough is enough. And that's what it takes. And when you have that, you have hope. You have hope. And that's what it's all about. It's about hope for tomorrow. And I just want to say to you that I'm honored to be here, to join this group. And I want you to know that we stand with you in Trenton. We had, just a couple of weeks ago, adopted a resolution to express our opposition to hate and bias. We passed legislation to provide funding for religious schools so that they can provide more security, so our kids can practice their religion safely, and for religious institutions as well. It's unfortunate that we have to do this, but that's what we have to do. But the state is responding, the state will continue to respond, and we will continue to stand up against hate and bias to make sure that we can all live together in a happy and safe community. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. Thank you very much. Next on the list is Pastor Matt Jones.
I am sitting here with congressmen, mayors, chief of police, sheriff's office, freeholders, and I'm saying, what am I doing here? I even got to hold the mayor's hand tonight. I am excited. In fact, when our mayor held our congressman's hand, I heard him whisper, I'm never going to wash this hand again. Honest engine, he said it. Nevertheless, you know, when I drove in tonight, and I want to thank Chief Beecher, just as we had that wonderful show of our police and our firefighters, and realized what was around us, I had this incredible thought, which was, I hope I paid my parking tickets. Then after that, the next thought was, I am so grateful to be in a community that cares about a community, that cares about its people, a community that does something to make sure its people are safe. Amen? And I am so glad tonight. I seldomly, if you know me, I seldomly read something, but for those of my friends who don't know me, you are very glad that I'm reading, otherwise you'd be doing your morning prayers by the time I was done. Nevertheless, tonight we stand in unity and we stand with our Islamic community in loving support over what happened in New Zealand, over at the House of Islam in Christchurch. These are horrible situations. It was only a couple of months ago where I met our new imam at a vigil for what had happened in a synagogue in Pittsburgh. And I've come to love this man so much. He is a gentle-spirited, kind man. And you know, I'm so glad to be a part of a clergy association that is extremely diverse. We have Jewish, we have Muslim, we have Christian. And you know, we disagree sometimes. Sometimes we can joust a little bit. But we love each other, we care about each other, and we work together for the sake of our community. And it's our prayer that our community can follow suit in our religious institutions as our religious leadership has done together for a number of years. You know, as a Christian pastor, I can only comfort you and strengthen you with the Word of God. I can give you condolences, but we need more than condolences right now. How many people know that? You see, we can condemn evil, we can condemn hate, but condemning hate is not enough. We need to come into an understanding of what causes hate, and we need to work against that at the grassroots level. You see, if we just merely condemn,
then we don't prevent the next problem from happening, and God forbid it happens in our community. Jesus said that sinful acts come from sinful thoughts. In fact, in Matthew 5, he said that thou shalt not murder. That's what you've heard it said. But he said, if you've called your neighbor, Raha, an empty-headed fool, he said, you've murdered him already. Because sin starts in the heart. As much as hatred is a problem, hatred is only a symptom of a deeper syndrome in the heart of mankind. The Christian scriptures tell us that hatred is an outcropping of something even more insidious. It's something called fear. The Christian scriptures equate the opposite of love not being hate, but being fear. Many times hate emanates from fear. There's a story in the Bible about Jesus on the night that he was betrayed. He was betrayed by one of his own disciples named Judas, who feared that Jesus had a different mission than he had. And so in order to secure his future, he betrays his Savior for 30 pieces of silver. He tries to stop his mission and provide for his own future out of his own fear. You know, there's a maxim about fear and hatred. The first maxim is this: our fear will always betray us. If you let fear govern you, it will betray you. You know, next we see in the story, as Jesus is praying in the garden, the religious leaders of his day who want him dead, as well as the Roman soldiers who are to carry out his task, come to arrest him. And one of his most loyal disciples, Peter, sees the crowd. He descends upon, he sees them descending upon Christ, and he quickly pulls out a sword and he wields the sword. And you know what he does? He ends up cutting off somebody's ear. You see, unchecked fear commonly lashes out blindly in hatred. That's what we saw in New Zealand. It's what we've seen in many places. As Peter swings that sword, as we said, he cuts off the ear of the servant of the high priest, whose name is Malchus. Malchus, he's not a religious leader. He's not a Roman soldier. He's just merely a servant of the high priest, probably a teenager, and his job was probably to hold the robe of the high priest so it wouldn't touch the ground. Of all the people that Peter lashed out at, he hit the wrong one. You know, there's another maxim of fear and of hatred. Fear and hatred will always hurt the ones who are innocent the most. Well, Peter not only hits the wrong person, but as we said before, he cuts off his ear. I can't help but wonder why the ear. With our ears, we hear. And because we can hear, we can listen. And because we can listen, we can reason. You see, listening is the gateway to understanding. Understanding this world, understanding our God, and understanding one another. And you see, when we lash out in hatred, we cut off one another's ear so that we not only spread the hate, but we increase the hate by cutting off other people's ability to listen, to reason, and to think. You see, that's a maxim of hatred. Lashing out in fear causes us not only to bear the pain, but share the pain. Peter not only hits this guy in the ear and takes his ear off, but we know what happens. Jesus comes and he tells Peter to put down the sword. He tells him whoever lives by the sword will die by the sword. It's another maxim of fear and hate. When we live by fear and hate, after we've destroyed those around us, we end up destroying our own souls. Then Jesus does an amazing thing. He reaches down to the ground and he picks up Malchus's ear. He puts it to Malchus's head and he heals him. You see, that's an amazing thing that he does, because this young man who's innocent, Jesus heals him. And it's a great maxim for you and I. It's the best maxim we have for fear and hate. And this is what it is. The final maxim of hatred and fear is that we can overcome fear and hatred when we reach out to one another and we ask God for help to heal our hurts and our fears and our unforgivenesses. You see, that's the kind of God we have. A God who forgives and a God who heals. A God who cares. As a Christian pastor who has been redeemed and forgiven by his own Savior, Jesus Christ, I must walk in the assurance that the God who loved me enough to redeem me is the same God who is able to keep me through difficult times. This loving God calls me to reach out to others in his name, to love, to forgive, to redeem, and to bring words of life to whoever comes my way. So tonight, I encourage you with words of life, words from the scriptures to say, do not fear. We have a God who loves us, a God who cares about us, and a God who advocates for us. And if we walk with him, we need not walk in fear. If we don't walk in fear, we do not walk in hatred. And my Father, I thank you tonight that you've been so good to each and every one of us. Lord, we pray for comfort, Lord God, for the people, Lord, the Islamic community of Christ Church in New Zealand. And Lord, we pray for the people of this community, Lord, who may be living in fear today, maybe even hatred that is cropped up because of it. Lord, I pray that you would minister your peace to them. I thank you for our community leaders, those who protect us and those who go ahead of us, Lord God. And Lord, I pray, Lord God, that you would make us, Lord, as a human family, those who may be diverse, but are willing to love and to work together for the sake of this community. Now the Lord bless you and keep you and make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. And I pray this in the name of my Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Pastor Jones. Next, I'd like to invite Reverend Rick Opel.
Singing. I'm going to sing a little bit later. I've served, I'm a Presbyterian, pastor of the United Presbyterian Church Flanders. I've served here for almost 12 years. And one of my big regrets is the first 9 of those years I did not know there was such a vital Islamic presence in our area. I say that to my own shame, because I did not make an effort to find out. The last couple of years, as I've gotten to know my friend Mohsen and others from the Islamic community, more recently Imam Jawad, who has a great sense of humor, by the way, always seems to have a smile on his face, and his wife makes a great tuna salad, as I learned this past Wednesday. Those developing friendships have so enriched my life and my ministry. And those relationships are part of the best part of my job right now. So I am thrilled to be here, to be part of this coming together of the human family. I'm proud to be working with my fellow colleagues in the association and in our interfaith relationships as well. And it's just an honor to be in this room together. So thank you very much. Thank you for coming out tonight.
So next, I'd like to invite Pastor Moises.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored to help us in the way. And I'm here representing the Hispanic community. I'm the pastor from the Mountain Hispanic Church. My pastor, Matt Jones, he does every church. I do the Spanish church. So he just spoke so well that I don't know what to say. But I'm glad that I can share with you, as being an immigrant, I can share with you some thoughts. But before that, I just want to share a prayer that our friend Rabbi Daniel said to be read for me. It's an honor for me to do it. So let's just pray. I'll read this prayer. The title is God full of compassion. It's a Jewish prayer that said the name is El Malik Rahamim. It said like this: exalted, compassionate God, grant is your sheltering presence, perfect peace among the holy and the pure. The souls of all our brothers and sisters, men, women, and children of the house of Islam in New Zealand, who were slaughtered for the sanctification of your name, may their memories endure, inspiring truth and righteousness in our lives. Grant them repose in the Garden of Eden, their souls thus bound up in the bond of the everlasting life. May they rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. I brought with my a sign that I just picked up from the Mount Olive Township office, and I love it. And it said, Mount Olive is proud to be stigma-free. And I took it because for me it's important to mention tonight that being a pastor, I'm here representing the Hispanic community. And we are joining this Candle Vigil in common interest, objectives, and standard with our Muslim community. That's being solidarity. Also, we came to pray together for all the victims' families of the New Zealand mosque shooting. Stigma in Greek word means brand or burn on the body with a hot iron. It was a mark of shame or discredit. As an immigrant, born in Dominican Republic, growing in Puerto Rico, and living in New Jersey by 18 years, I can tell about stigma and how it can become as a negative emotion and behavior in any relationship, personal or social way. Reality is that evil is real, but we can choose different. And tonight, what I see here, what I have enjoyed seeing how a community can come together. Because of the book of Bible, the book that I believe, and this is why I started showing this sign, because for me, I can speak in freedom, free of stigma, because we are in a place of unity, accepting each other, independent of we believe or independent of religion, of ethnicity, because love is the power that unites us. And I just want to ask you today that when we speak about tragedy, there's no explanation. And the human being and the heart is so much complicated that even the Bible, Prophet Jeremiah said that the heart is deceitful. Nobody can understand it, but only God knows the heart. And that's why I believe that God is the source for healing, to deal with hate, to deal with negative emotions. And I was thinking today, why I should say it? And a story came to my mind that in the Bible, when Jesus was talking about a tragedy, and one word that he used as an answer for the disciple that was questioning the situation was the following verse that I just want to read to you. And he said in Luke chapter 13, verse 5, he said the following answer: I tell you, not, but unless you repent, you will all likewise perish. And believe me, for me, that answer was kind of good. And I said, Lord, what is the meaning of that? But allow please me to explain that when you look at the meaning of the word repent, you may agree with me that it wasn't really a bad answer. Because Jesus was talking about the meaning of the word, meaning to adopt another view, to change our feelings. And tonight, I was listening to the Congressman, I was listening to the Chief of Police, and I said, I test that because they are willing and they're working hard. But you know what? They cannot do it alone. They need us as a member of the community to understand that the change in our heart, the change in our mind, the change in our thinking, the way that we see each other have to change. That the help that they receive when you see that somebody might be misbehaving or talking in a way that is not proper, that you may be interested in trying to know what is in this heart. Maybe they don't understand, maybe they don't know what it means, maybe you can tell the time to say, let me explain what I believe. Let me explain what I believe is my identity. Because when I know people, I have my friend Iftar from Pakistan when I was working. I have my friend from Jehovah's Witness church. I have friends from Mormons. And when I speak to them, I can understand their heart. And I start to appreciate the life, even though that we have difference in belief. And that's tonight what I just finished saying. I'm going to ask you to do a little exercise. I'm going to give you an assignment. That's from now on, instead of being quiet, you'll be part of the solution with a changing heart. And you will be able to speak with love and compassion, not with hate, not with fear. You with perfect love, take out any fear. I'm going to ask you to exercise. I will ask you to look just back of you and look who is there in the back of you and say, look in the eyes of that person. I'm going to ask you right now. Look back to you. Who is the person behind you right now? I'm going to ask you this exercise and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this community and this word that we're doing today. Just opposing any way I'm not expressing our love to each other. I'm going to just end you with this prayer. If you please allow bow your head, close your eyes, I'm going to pray. Father God, I come to you ask that the main or the most important thing to help our community is that we allow our heart to be changed. To change the view and the way of living, Lord, understanding that when you change our heart, we start to love and to value each other. Thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Moises. I'd like to now invite Shelley Morningstar. Just a very, through all of these experiences, has become a very strong supporter, and we really appreciate her presence over here today.
Good evening, everyone, to our public officials, members of the law enforcement agency, members of the Clergy Association, and most importantly, to our Muslim brothers and sisters and to the community of friends and neighbors gathered here. I honestly wasn't prepared to say anything when my new friend Mohsin asked me to say something. But the other day, in my own thoughts about the act of horrific violence and about hate and bigotry, I came across something that I thought perhaps would resonate with all of us tonight. It was written by the civil rights activist and the U.S. Poet Laureate Maya Angelou. And it is from her book, it's a chapter from her book called Wouldn't Take Nothing from My Journey Now. It is time to learn from each other that racism has diminished all of the lives it has touched. It is time for the preachers, the rabbis, the imams, the priests and the pundits, and the professors to believe in the awesome wonder of diversity so that they can teach those who follow them. It is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. We all should know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry, and we must understand that all the threads of the tapestry are equal in value no matter their color, equal in importance no matter their texture. Our young must be taught that racial differences may exist, but beneath the color of the shades of the skin, beyond the differing features and into the true hearts of the beings, fundamentally, we are more alike, my friend, than we are alike. Mere twins are different, although their features jive, and lovers think quite differently, thoughts while lying side by side. We love and lose in China, we weep on England's moon. We laugh and moan in Guinea and thrive on Spanish shores. We seek success in Finland and are born and die in Maine. In minor ways we differ, in major we are the same. We know the obvious differences between each sort and shape and type, but we are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. We are more alike, my friends, than we are unalike. And to our Muslim friends, we are more alike than we are unalike, and we are honored to be here and will always support you to stand up to hate and bigotry in any form. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Very nice point. Okay, just a couple of housekeeping things. For all of the Muslim attendees, we will be praying Isha. So those who are going to watch, we're going to get another round of observing us while we pray our night prayer. So 8:45 will be the prayer. So we will didn't expect to go that long, but we ended up going that long. Anyway, so for all the Muslims, please stay back. We will pray Isha right where we pray Maghrib. So please join us, and that'll be in about 15 minutes. At the end of the program, yep. As my Imam told me, it will be after the program. Okay. So next, real quickly, I'd like to invite a peace advocate, Madeline Hassan.
I have to bring that microphone way down. One of the other speakers just before me said with all of the leadership here, the government officials, and other notables, he wondered why he was invited. Well, now I'm thinking the same thing, because I'm not a reverend, I'm not a pastor, I'm not a rabbi. I am just a citizen of the world, a person who has lived in Flanders since 1993, and a person who has worked for peace for the last 20 or more years. And like you, I'm sure, when the images of what happened in New Zealand started to become public last Friday, it shook me right down to the core. It shook me and it still haunts me today. Because somehow, some way, someone thought that he was entitled to pick up an automatic weapon and march into a mosque and shoot people, and shoot and shoot and shoot. I have it's caused me to think this whole week about what makes anyone think that violence solves anything. What makes anyone think that using a gun like that to target people that he or she may not like is going to solve anything? Instead, what it does is it continues a cycle of violence, and that cycle of violence is deadly and destructive and hurts and harms many people. So what we need to do, and I was also prompted to think of Dr. Martin Luther King. That's where the Citizen of the World statement came from, and that's also where the quotation that injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, and what happened in New Zealand last Friday was a terrible injustice. And but I also think think about what has brought us here to this moment, and to the people who talk about immigrants as if they are stigmatized, as the Reverend said, the pastor said. What has brought us here? And why, at this time in our history, are there more refugees and immigrants than there have ever been in the history of the world? And I have to think, like Dr. King did, of the violence perpetrated by some of the world's leaders and world's governments upon others, and how, in country after country, one country has threatened that country and is dropping bombs and starting wars. And if governments solve their differences with bombs and wars, how are we going to eradicate the hate? How are we going to eradicate the violence? How are we going to find another way to address the problems between people? And how are we going to address this large number of refugees and immigrants who are flooding away or fleeing from their own countries and flooding other countries? We have to look, as so many other people have said tonight, we have to look at ourselves and inside ourselves and stand up when anybody says something hateful, racist, bigoted, generalized, stereotype that is not true. Yes, that's true, we must all do that. But I also believe that we must all stand up to governments who believe that they can solve their problems with violence. Disrupting people's homes, disrupting people's lives, killing people, that must end. And oh, isn't it ironic that within 5 days of this incident, New Zealand banned automatic, semi-automatic kinds of weapons. 5 days! And here we are with thousands of mass shootings in this country, and we still have those guns on the streets. So I thank you all for your attention, and I hope that together, within this community and others, we can fight against violence and against hate. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite one of our very old community members who's been in this community about more than 15 years. So I'd like to invite Adil Khalaf to say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum. I just want to put in the spot about listening to everybody and they sum everything. I was watching the ceremony today that they did in New Zealand, and the Imam has summed everything in his speech. We are humans, we are brothers, we are the same. And I immigrated here like 19 years ago. And before I thought every country is different and every person is different. And every country is closed box. But when I came here, I found like close brother in humanity. I found my colleague in school, in colleges, are closer to me than my countryman. He felt so sad when I felt sad. He felt like depressed when I'm depressed. He gave me tranquility when I needed it. So I felt this is my home since day one. I took my best friend to see John Field, which is still my best friend. They took me to this action, and those people, you know, make me feel home all the time. Today, this incident wants to make us feel different. The guy the terrorist who goes to the mosque and kills all these people wants the people to feel different. But he make us feel close and the same. He make us feel like brothers and sisters. not in Islam, but in humanity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Aldo. Thank you so much. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just about done. Okay, as you can see, the banjo's right here, and our dear Reverend Rick wanted to sing a short song. But while he's doing the singing, I'm going to ask anybody who has a candle with them to start getting ready to get it lit. I have one light of it, so let's use it light. Okay, all right.
Are being lit. Our music director, Argale, is going to do a little quick music thing for the kids, and then he's going to do something. I would like you to join me, sing a few praise of "We Shall Overcome" for freedom.
Okay, everybody. 29 years and 15,000 students. I'm a testimonial to the fact that music is the universal language. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Darkness cannot wipe out darkness, only light can." So let's have the little ones stand, middle school students, junior high, high school students, college students, all stand and shine this light. Okay? Now, wherever you are, sing after me. If you want to sing along, sing along. Imitate this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Una, una. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it